Now I'm going to talk about school life in Japan. I'm going to center it mostly on primary school, but I also talk a little about high school as well. So Japan, just to get an idea where it is, it's in East Asia. It's near South Korea and China. And I was studying abroad in Tokyo, which is the capital of the nation. So transportation, public transportation is also very big in Japan. You won't see a lot of people driving to school just because the roads are very narrow and small, and it costs a lot of money to buy gas. So mostly you'll see people walking, taking like the subway or the metro, or taking buses or biking. For me, my school commute was about 40 minutes, which is actually pretty normal. I took a train and a bus to get to school. When you're walking, it's common to see like students in uniforms. The first picture up on the left, this is a pretty common sight for like elementary school students. They'll have like a little hat and their backpacks, and they're all like walking together to school. And one interesting thing is the public transportation for buses. Each like prefecture, which a prefecture is kind of like a state, they have like a mascot, and the mascot will be on the bus. So like for this particular prefecture, their mascot's a dog, so their dog is on the bus. So, yeah. And for a typical day in like a Japanese primary school, it varies for the time, but typically it starts around 8:30 and ends around 3 p.m. And typically you're required to wear a uniform. It's sometimes more lenient when elementary school. You don't have to wear it all the time. But for like high school, middle school, you have to wear a uniform. There's standard classes like PE, math, Japanese, home economics, social studies, and sciences. But there's also like some traditional classes like writing poetry, haikus, or like traditional writing calligraphy, which you can see in the top left. And then English is also taught in the schools. Mandatory English lessons doesn't start until middle school, but some elementary students get like a little bit of English practice just because for a lot of college exams, they're required to know English. And one interesting thing about Japanese schools is there's no janitors, so kids actually clean the classrooms themselves. And I don't know how you guys would feel about having to clean your own classroom, but they do this like every day. And there's also no cafeterias. Typically, food gets brought to the classroom and everyone eats together. People either buy school lunches or like their parents will make them a lunch box called bento. In the right top corner, you can see like an example of like a standard kind of bento. Usually, mothers put a lot of pride and time into making bentos for their children to take to school. And you can see like they have like a little cute character and like a pretty balanced meal. It's usually like meat, vegetables, and rice. And below that, if you don't bring a school lunch, the school will serve lunches in the classroom, and you see the kids are actually serving the lunch as well. And they'll take like turns to do this as well as like cleaning duty as well. And so school isn't actually over at 3 p.m. There's usually a lot of after school activities. So elementary school, it's a little bit more lenient. You don't have to do a club, but typically in middle school and high school, everyone pretty much does a club. And that could usually be like music or sports or something like that. But there's also like something called cram school, which is referred to as like juku, which is like um, I guess supplementary classes outside of school that students will go to kind of like get an edge on like doing well in school, getting like good grades on like entrance exams and everything. So one thing that's different as well is you have to take a test to get into the high school that you want to do. It doesn't just go like progression, like you can't just apply to anywhere. You do have to take an exam to get into high school if when you're in middle school. So I thought that was interesting because like you don't really have to do that here. Same thing as like in college. Yeah. So this video is just what I was talking about earlier about Japanese kids having to clean the classroom and serving lunch. They have like a strong emphasis on curating like life skills early on. So,
自分たちで自分の部屋を掃除した方がいいと思います。教室がピカピカになると嬉しいし、
自分自身の手でできるようにするためなので、しばらくはこのまま続いていくのではないかと思います。たくさんの人といろんな場で食事をしたり、物を片付けたりっていうことが大人になるとありますよね。それを子供の時から少しずつ身につける。
褒めてもらってありがとうとか言ってくれて嬉しい。ありがとうございました。
So yeah, I'm not sure if that would ever like fly in America, but I think it's a pretty cool system. And lastly, I'll just talk about the school progression in Japan. So elementary and junior high school, which is middle school, is required. So up until you're about 14, 15, you're required to attend school, which I think in America is like 16 as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of on the younger side, but 99% of middle schoolers go on to high school, so they don't really have a problem with that. So yeah,
so for those students that do not pass the test to go into the high school, are they just expected to enter into the workforce then, or?
Oh no, so you will be able to get into a high school, but you might not get into your top high school.
Gotcha.
Why they like take a lot of after school classes to kind of get an edge on other people. But you just
Gotcha. Okay.
So primary school is 6 years, and then middle school and high school are both 3 years. And then college entrance exams are very competitive in Japan. When you're in high school, I know that's the time when people are like really hardcore cramming to get into the college that they want. Because unlike in America, when you can take like the college entrance exam, like the SAT or the ACT, like multiple times a year, in Japan, you only have one time to take the test. So you take the general entrance exam test for like all colleges, and then you have to take another specific test for the college of your choosing. And if you fail, then that's it. You have to wait like a whole another year to try again. Or well, yeah, that's basically all you can do. You can just wait. But if you don't want to go into like university, you can do like a vocational school and learn like a trade, which is pretty accepted. I know like it's not really talked about much in America, but it's a pretty good thing to do if you're not going to go to college. Yeah, so there's a 50%, 56% chance that you'll pass the entrance exam on the first time in Japan. So yeah, it's really difficult, and people generally, it's like they're very stressed out about it. But if you can pass it and you are able to get into university, I know that university in Japan, like it's a little easier just because you spent a lot of time working for it. So when you get there, it's not as difficult.